Hello to all my beautiful souls. Today's podcast is going to be very interesting podcast because today we are meeting Dr. Dinah Peak about the past life regression hypnotherapist and also about her real-time experiences, her own experiences as well as the experiences with the clients. So, first of all, myself, Amber Kaur, and my profession is talent acquisition, but I have deep interest in spirituality in all the terms related to spirituality. For sure, past life regression is also a part of spirituality where we get to know ourselves or our higher self. And also, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Diana Peak. She is Executive Director at Dr. Michael Newton Institute. She is certified clinical hypnotherapist, Reiki master, certified regressionist. So let's welcome Dr. Diana here. Hello,
Thank
Dr. Diana. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me, Amber.
It's my pleasure to have you here. We are very much privileged to get your knowledge and share your knowledge to people who are looking forward to get knowledge on this topic, Dr. Dina.
I'm
Okay,
I'm I'm excited about that because this is something that people really do want to know about, and there are places to find out more information.
even I want to do that. Would you do that for me too? I want to know my past life.
Absolutely. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, please. Yes, please. So, Dr. Diana, I was doing some research on past life, and I think I have got some real time cases in regards to this topic. So what is this term past life regression?
So past life regression is taking you back. So if you regress, you go backwards. So we are going back to a time before this present moment. So when we do regression in this present life, we go back younger and younger. If we do it in a past life, we go into lives before this one. And most of us have had many past lives. So the question is, when you go into a past life, how do you choose which life to go into? And how do you know when you're going there, what you're going to encounter? And when I'm working with people, we're making a choice. So most of the time when people come in and want to do a past life, they have something they want to know. I want to know why my relationships break down. I want to know why I have so much pain. Why did I have trauma in this lifetime? Why did my parents hate me? And all of these kinds of things that come up in this lifetime, they want to know if there is something before this lifetime or something that made this happen, caused this to come about. And so when we look at past lives, we look at our soul in a different human form. So we are currently souls that are experiencing a human incarnation. So your soul is experiencing Amber. My soul is experiencing Diana. It is not that Diana has a soul, it is the soul is experiencing Diana. So the soul is too big, is because the soul is part of the divine. The soul chooses to come into an incarnation to learn. And because learning our lives are so short, we go through many lifetimes, and the soul accumulates knowing and wisdom and learning over many lifetimes. And many of us have had many lifetimes. So when we decide we want to look at previous lifetimes, it's very helpful to set an intention of what you want to know and why you want to know it. So, what is my purpose here in this lifetime? Why was I born? Why was I born with the parents that I have, in the place that I was, with the gender, the ethnicity, all of these questions? And so we select an intention, and then we move out of connection to this present lifetime into a space of the soul, and then the soul moves back into a lifetime. So my experience has been that people who are reflective and wanting to know have lived many lifetimes. Because if you think of a child in human terms isn't reflective. They're still trying to learn how to be a child. But as we get older, we become more reflective. We start to look back and say, what did I learn here? What did I know? And as we mature, then we're going, oh, I wish I'd done that. And what did I learn from not doing that? It's the same with the soul, that we learn over time, and we learn by experiencing lifetimes and and engaging in activity that then teaches us about what we're choosing to be or not choosing to be, or choosing not to be. And all of us have had lifetimes where we've done horrible things, and all of us have good lifetimes. We've had big lifetimes, we've had calm lifetimes. So all of us have had all of this. And
Sorry, I would, may I pause you in between to ask something?
sure, absolutely.
Thank you, Dr. Diana. So, the question is, like you told us that we choose our relationships, we choose our parents, our partners, siblings, or friends around us, and even our co-workers. Well, my question here is, why do we choose the relationships which are abusive? And why do the abuser, the people who are playing the role of abuser, why do they choose that kind of role where they abuse other people, right? And also, let's say before my birth, I'm choosing the abusive relationships, right? Because that's my choice before my birth. And then why do I leave those abusive relationships?
Or you choose the conditions coming into your life. And these conditions are here to teach you a lesson, or teach you many lessons. If you choose, let's say you choose parents who are emotionally distant, who are abusive, who
Hmm.
put you down, they don't teach you how to be you. You are choosing this because it sets you up for a lesson. Chances are it's around self-love. How can I love me when the people who are raising me don't love me? How can I choose to be loving to me and to others if in my family environment nobody is loving to me and I don't learn how to love? So the lesson is perfectly set up for you not to be loving to yourself. And it sets you up to learn how to do that. So for example, if you choose an abusive marriage
Mm-hmm.
and you're abused in this marriage, or it's codependent, you have someone who is an alcoholic, for example, and you stay with that person because it's what you know, until it gets to a point that you have the courage to say, I can't do this anymore, I'm leaving. I have to take care of me. I have to be loving enough to me to walk away from this. And that's the courage of the lesson. So we
Mm-hmm.
choose it, and that soul that's the abusive one is choosing to do that for us as part of their journey to learn to move beyond whatever that addiction is or that abusiveness. Whether they do or not is their journey. But it is also out of love for you to support you in the lesson of learning to walk away from them. So when we look at it from inside of a lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
there isn't an answer. If you look at it from the soul level, the souls know that this is about the higher good of the soul, to learn to love yourself.
Oh, okay. Very good answer. Like everything which is happening in our life, we are learning from it. Doesn't matter if it is a bad or good, right?
Exactly. That's a
So,
judgment if it's bad
yeah,
or good. And
yeah.
and the universe and our guides are not judging. They are
Mm-hmm.
love. It is we in this lifetime who judge everything. We judge what we look like. We judge what we do. We judge others. We're always in judgment. And this is not the way of the universe, but it is the way of being human.
Yeah. But being human, let's say if I'm going through a lot since my childhood, I got abusive parents, I got a abusive boyfriend or a husband or a partner who is abusive, and then after few years, I am done. What happened in that case? Let's say I chose a life of 80 years. I promised with my masters or universe that yes, I will live this life for 80 years. Doesn't matter if I'm having difficulties or challenges. But I I commit to suicide at the age of 40. Now what would happen to leftover 40 years because I didn't complete my span here? So what would
So
happen in that case?
so let me give you an example because in one of my past lives I committed suicide. So I have some experience with this from my own experience.
Hmm.
When we come into a life, we are coming in to work on lessons. And I consider it like you have thousands of lessons you're working with. And I think I have the dump truck approach where I put thousands of lessons into a lifetime. And there's
Hmm.
only so much I can do in however many years. And it is also possible that I will overwhelm myself or not.
Yes.
I may be able to do everything I put in my path, but usually not. We always have free will. We always have choice. And so if I come into a lifetime and I find a lesson is overwhelming, is too much for me, it is always my choice to abandon that lesson, right? So I have um, if I have a marriage that's abusive, I have a choice to stay in it. I have a choice to become a masochist and enjoy it. I have a
Hmm.
choice to say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I need to get out of this. So those are all choices. In terms of ending your own life, most religions say this is bad. There is a judgment around it. One should not do this. In my own case, I was a man who um, was very emotional, and I lived with a group of people in a forest. We were hunters, and my wife got pregnant. She was the strong one, I was the emotional one. But in
Hmm.
my society, men were supposed to be strong.
Yes.
And I would not allow her to be the strong one.
Hmm.
And so I wouldn't allow her to come into her strength. The problem was she ended up having a baby, and the baby was stillborn and dead. This was horrible for both of us. And she relied on me because I put her in that position for me to resolve it for her. I couldn't be resolved. The baby was dead. Both of us were devastated. And
Hmm.
she's upset. She's yelling at me. She's not empowered. She's devastated. She has all these pregnancy hormones going through her, and she's a mess.
Yes.
I leave. I couldn't handle it. I walked out, and I was over.
Oh.
And I wandered around in the forest, didn't know what to do, couldn't handle it, was totally overwhelmed, had no resources to deal with it, and walked off a cliff and died.
So you
And
didn't take care. Sorry about that. So you didn't take care of her. You just left her. You just left the. It is like you ran out of the situation without
exactly,
handling her stress. Okay.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And as I as I'm going over the cliff, my soul is leaving the body. The body is now at the bottom of the cliff, broken.
Mhm.
And my soul keeps going back into the body, experiencing the pain and coming out and being in this gray area and not knowing what to do and going back into the body and coming out just like this. And I don't know what to do. I'm in between, and all my conditioning says it's bad for me to have left. I shouldn't have left, but I didn't know what else to do. So I'm stuck. And what happens is my guides and the souls who know me and love me surround me with love and bring me home. And they say, basically, they say, my guide, my primary guide, comes and starts talking to me in a very loving way and says, you know, you do this all the time. You have these big lives with big lessons, and you
Mhm.
always are a mess when you come home. Not that I kill myself, but I'm always a mess. And she said, you're always a mess. Go clean up, get your soul back, and then we'll talk about it. So it was very loving. It's like you have to reestablish your soul's energy, and then we can talk about what happened. And at that point, after I cleaned up, the conversation was about how I approach my lives and what I learned out of it. There never was a judgment that I made the wrong choice. I made the choice that I made. It wasn't you did the wrong thing, you ended your life. It was, why did this happen? Learn from it. How can we learn from what happened? And so when I talked to my counsel later, my counsel was encouraging me in my strength, in being stronger, and in being in balance with my analytical self and my emotional self. So this is the journey that my soul was on at that time and is in this life, is learning about the balance of being emotional and being analytical. So that's in balance. And I was very out of balance. So my counsel and guides had basically, there was never a comment about, shouldn't have done that. You have
Yes.
free will and you do what you do,
Mhm.
and you learn the lesson from it. That's where what happens. The judgment, I was judging me harshly because my society said I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have been emotional. I shouldn't have left my wife. I did though. And my guides and my counsel then were saying, how do you learn from this? How do you grow from this? Take it as the opportunity to grow. We're not here to punish you. We're here to support you learning from the actions that you take.
So, one thing here, lots of people who are going through a bad phase or continuously a bad phase, they think if they commit to suicide, they will get freedom from all those problems. But actually, when they commit to suicide, like you were telling me in your case, you were kind of feeling sorry for that. So that feeling of committing to suicide still stays with you after you commit to suicide. And then you were given a new opportunity to work on that, right?
Right. Those kinds of lessons will come up in another life, and I will have another opportunity to make different choices.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no commitment. If I die at 40, and I don't make a commitment for how long I'm going to live. I
Mm-hmm.
am given this lifetime, and it is I'm given it so that I can live this incarnation to the fullest. So my commitment is to fully be Diana. Yours is to fully be Amber. You have somebody who chooses to come into a life as a quadriplegic, and Why would someone choose to come in to be a quadriplegic? Maybe it's because the lesson they're working on is patience, receiving help from others. I mean, it's pretty dramatic to not be able to move your arms and legs.
Mm-hmm.
You're dependent. And perhaps you have resisted allowing others to support you and to receive from others and giving them the opportunity to love you. So there are lessons that will, this is why there are many lifetimes, because if there's only one lifetime, how could I learn about me as an emotional, rational being if it's only that one lifetime and I screw it up? Or
See,
I,
yeah, interesting. Got this idea. But I know some people, they don't believe in this. Okay. So what would you like to tell them? They say, oh, we are born on this earth and one day we'll die. But they don't care. This earth started many, many years back. They never thought if they are here in 2024, let's say they are born in 1992, where they were before. So what would you like to tell to those people who don't believe in past life or reincarnations?
so I think the basics, the place I start is, do you believe in something larger than yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in a universe? Do you believe in the concept of source energy or of God? Do you believe in something divine, something bigger than you, of which you are a part? Are you connected to something larger than you or not? That's really the starting place. If I believe I'm connected to something bigger than me, how does that connection happen? If then my belief is that I am a soul, and a soul is the energy, is God energy, is the energy of the divine. My soul then becomes incarnated into a body to experience and grow. That's a different perspective than I am an incarnation. I am this human, and this is all that I am. So I start from, what are you? Are you God?
Yes.
Are you part of the universe, which is bigger than you? Or are you simply this defined being that is here, is separate from everything else? And all that we know about energy and matter and quantum
Mm-hmm.
physics tells us that we are not that we are we are connected to the whole of the energetic field that in and the quantum field that is past,
Yes.
present, and future is one. So even scientifically, you can show that we are part of more. The concept of past life and multiple lives in the past shows up in multiple religions. So in Hinduism, obviously there is a knowing or a belief in having lived other lives, and that you go through a progression of lives as your soul learns and as you move. In in um, in Catholicism, there is something that's called purgatory,
Mm-hmm.
and purgatory is the state of the soul dying and needing to grow and perfect itself in order to align with God. And how does that happen?
That's
My
right.
my sense is that they could be the same, that we come back into another body because this is where we learn. So you could see that there are parallels in religions about how we go about perfecting to come back into alignment as love in the God energy. And and so it depends on what one, it isn't, it can be approached from a religious perspective or a knowing. How do I know myself? How do I connect with me? Am I simply this physical form, or is there a self, a soul self, something that is bigger than me, And that for me is the starting place of the conversation. See where that leads.
Right, right. So a single query arises in my consciousness, like you are stating, the existence of something bigger than us, bigger than ourselves. So could there be life beyond our planet or in other dimensions? Or is it possible that we were born on other planets or on other dimensions?
I guess yes is the answer. All of the above. So um, our souls exist in multiple dimensions. And that means that we can exist across time and space in different places. Our souls incarnate into human form, not on a regular basis. So I may incarnate in the year 1000, and my next incarnation may be in 1887. It time and space are human constructs. They're not soul constructs. So souls, if we look at the billions of people who are on this earth, the billions of souls may have been here before. They may be new souls.
Mm-hmm.
They may have been in other dimensions in non-human form.
Oh.
I I know that I have lived in energetic forms in other dimensions because I've experienced that in my journeys. So being in another life form has informed me and is still within me about what I am as an energetic being, so that I recognize those other some of those other dimensions of me. So you could have lived in another dimension on another planet. And there are
Yes.
those who believe in travelers who move across time and space. There are those who believe um, in souls living on other planets. All of this is possible.
I have one question coming to my mind, Dr. Diana. It's about timings. So you are saying we choose to take birth on this earth. We choose our families, we choose our parents, our partners, friends. Do we choose the time to come to this earth? Do we choose which year I would be taking birth on this earth? And let's say if I was born as a female in my previous birth, would I also choose the gender in this birth?
So my sense is it can be that souls are choosing to be here at this time for a purpose. We choose to be born now. If you, for example, if you had been born in 1865 in England and
Mm-hmm.
you were an upper middle class woman,
Mm-hmm.
you have a very restrictive life because you must operate within your society. You
Mm-hmm.
can't go to work. You cannot engage in men's things. You have to play the dutiful wife. There are things you have to do because society constricts you to those formalities.
Mm-hmm.
Born now, here you are born at the end of the 20th century. What's happened? In the 1960s and 70s, there was an expansion of the ability of women to be their own persons.
Yes, equal rights. Yeah.
Equal rights. Before that, you couldn't take out a credit card in your own name. As of 1972, you could not have a credit card in your own name without a man co-signing.
Mm-hmm.
So the world has changed.
Yes.
And you are here at a time that you can be you and that a woman can be in a position of authority, that there is the concept of equal rights, of equal presence, that women have the ability to use their brains. in parts of the world. In parts of the world, they're going the other way and saying this is not so. But we know that at least I know, I chose to be here at this time because I could be empowered to be me as a woman and use the strength that I have as a woman than what a man has.
Mhm.
So souls choose when they are coming because it engages with the challenges and lessons they're working on. So if you chose to be a woman at this time and place, and let's say you wanted to be president of the United States, here we have Kamala Harris, who is a woman and a woman of color who is coming in at this time to be who she is.
Sometime I think about times when so many souls taking birth on this earth in the same time, let's say 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I know so many, if we do the analysis, if we try to find out the data, at same time, so many souls are taking birth. So is that planned by universe or how does that work?
So it, I think that there's a thing of timing, which is human. There are lessons, and I think there are more souls who are here now. Are there souls created all the time? I think so. And the divine chooses to individuate part of the divine into souls. So we become individual souls that are divine, but they have an individual characteristic. And
Hmm.
so Michael Newton, as he was describing the birth of souls, souls are born and that they are born from the divine so that the divine can learn and expand and grow.
Yes.
And that each soul in a soul group generally is born at the same time. And so you could have thousands of souls that are born in the same moment that then become a soul group and then go on in their journeys. And you could have billions of souls born in an instant because there is no time. It just becomes. And so they can show up in the world because there is a reason for them to be there.
It's a very, very big topic,
It is.
vast.
It is. Not
I
what
have,
we ever really know for sure because none of us has are sitting at the place of being the one who can see everything.
hmm,
We can't
yeah,
see.
yeah, that's right. Life is really beyond this body and
Mhm.
beyond this earth planet. We would like to give our audience some kind of examples. For example, you are working at very high position, you are earning six-figure salary, you're having a big home, family, love, everything, but still you are missing something. Of course, you should come to Dr. Diana to get to know what is missing. You are getting everything in your life, or vice versa. You're not getting anything in your life. You try 200%, not getting a dream job, not getting a dream house, not getting a lover, a true love in your life. You should always come to Diana. Well, thank you so much for watching this episode on past life, life between life, other dimensions, and taking birth on other planets episode. Uh, on this topic, actually, we have lots to talk about, keeping the time into consideration. Today episode, we are going to end over here and we are going to bring another part on the same discussion very soon for all of you. Once again, thank you so much for watching all my videos and thank you so much for liking and subscribing my channel. Have a good one and have good life ahead. Bye bye.